they're going to elaborate on that, or?
I remember what you're talking about, and I went up to the executive producer, who actually comes to the set every day. Whoa. The executive producer of Buffy, Joss Whedon, comes to the set every
Just
day.
like Rick Berman?
Just like God, yeah. I asked him that question, and I said, what is this all about? He said, I haven't the faintest idea. So I go from episode to episode, looking at the lines, trying to figure it out as much as you are. And I kind of sort of like it that way, because I don't know what to play. There's a wonderful apocryphal, well, it's not apocryphal, it's a true story about Casablanca, that when they were shooting the film, they didn't know how it was going to end. And, remind me, it was the actress in thank you. Ingrid played it because she didn't know which of these two guys she was going to end up with. So she played that she was in love with both of them. I kind of like that's the way I play principal over at Buffy.
All right, thanks a lot.
That's actually a great way, I think, to play. And when you're playing a regular part on series, people always say, do you hope this is going to happen? Do you hope that's going to happen? And it's really, I think, very similarly, better not to get into that trip and just discover it each week and not know way ahead of time what's going to happen to your character. I've never known and never been privy to it, and I suspect to a great degree they haven't really known where it was going.
Well, Rick certainly doesn't know where it's going.
We like to think
What, are they going to fire me? It's the last season. Well, I got another job, so what the hell?
We like to think they have a master plan that gives us a sense of security, that somehow they know what's going to happen to the show and what's going to happen to the characters, but really they do not know. They take ideas from you and a whole group of people who write in with ideas. They steal them promptly, they deny that you gave them to them, and then they make them after jigging a few of the notions in those ideas. And they really, it's like, for example, the whole Bashir sequence where he became genetically enhanced. They had no idea he was going to be genetically enhanced until it happened, until it dropped on their foot, and they went, oh, that's it, that's what he's going to do. And I don't think they have any notion, particularly with any of the characters. Maybe Cisco, they might have a notion with. And this season, they probably have an idea of what's going to happen with an arc, a span of what's going to happen to the station. I know that one of the executive producers does not want the station to be around after the show is over. He wants the station to be somewhere else, in some other sphere, destroyed into, smashed. Well, because, you know what, and he has an interesting idea, he has an interesting point about that. It's not the fact that he doesn't want, obviously this thing to be there as a symbol of what Deep Space Nine was, but he doesn't want some other show coming along that's called something else, but is obviously Star Trek affiliated, and just moving in.
You mean Voyager?
What? Is this a gas station?
And you might as well know that also, they'll throw something at us, and then they'll watch the performance, and they'll, and it's always an interesting decision. It's always the interesting judgment that they make. If they don't like something, is it the performance, is it the director, or is it what they've written? And that's who the hell knows about that one. Although they're
I know if they like something, it's what they've written.
It's what they've written. If they don't like something, it's the director or the actor. But then they'll change it. They've turned on a dime. I mean, the whole ZL thing was is a good example of that. Basically, just a lot of indecision and a lot of misconception there. And then the one time that I think that Melanie, the last ZL, and I kissed, and our rubber masks got caught, and it was like Plastic Man. As we, it was like a Roadrunner cartoon. Because I was thinking about that when Rene was talking. As our heads came away from each other, our lips sort of like big wad of chewing gum, and then whack. And I begged them not to reshoot it, because that's a Cardassian kiss, but they didn't do it.
You directed an episode of Voyager last year. Are you going to direct again?
They haven't told me. I mean, that's the other thing too. You do these things, and then you never really get feedback from the producers or whatever. And And unless you have a contract with them, I mean, you never know what's going to, if indeed I'm going to direct another one. But at this point, it doesn't look like it.
So would you like to do another Voyager or a DS9 and GT?
I'd rather do a Voyager. I really would rather do a Voyager. I'd rather act on DS9 and do a Voyager. You know, it's. I mean, that's my own compartmentalization.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well,
Why?
Because they're difficult prima donnas.
That's what I wanted to hear.
You know?
You notice as we get near the end of the run of this show, if you go around the conventions, we're probably getting a lot more candid about that.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Those bastards, they won't let me do what I wanted.
Get us out of here, please.
First, I wanted to say to Armin, it was great fun to see you and everyone else at the Alien Voices.
Thank you.
That was very British, yes.
And my question is for Alexander. I was just there that.
Dead.
Do you and Robert Beltran ever get together to commiserate about your respective lack of a love life on your
He at least has a little dignity, you know. I mean, no offense to Armin or anything like that, but you got to see the guys who pick up the girls that I don't get. You know? One look at Rom and Lita. It's like, and
I've been trying to teach you marks for 6 years now.
sitting in front of a mirror going, how do I get a nose like
Obviously, he ain't no changeling.
No, we don't commiserate. We don't commiserate, but we should.
Hello, excuse my voice, I'm screaming all night. I went to see Halloween H2O and I'm screaming out in the theater. So, I think Deep Space Nine has the best ensemble cast of all the Star Treks. It's my favorite. I would truly miss it when it's gone. Siddig, it took me 5 years to learn your name and then you changed it. And I'm wondering, does it make a difference if we call you Alexander or Siddig?
You can call me whatever you like. It was actually a bruise to, I mean, one of the problems I had with a name like Siddig El Fadil, which is a very abridged version of my name, was the fact
Sid,
that...
could you tell him
later? We haven't got that kind of time. It's me trying to remember the names is the hard thing, not me actually saying them. But was the fact that I just got sick of it. People learned that name, and some people made a valiant attempt at it. I mean, even the studio, when I was first called up to do auditions, I was getting calls from the casting office in England going, we'd like to speak to Mr. Siddig El Farouk. And my mother's like, he doesn't live here. Come on, I think they mean me. So apart from that, otherwise people who just generally like the show and they wanted to come and say something would just call me Hey, And to say that, Alexander came in so that people could actually read and say something. It just didn't matter.
We've got the weirdest names on our
He
show.
took Alexander. We've got a Rene, we've got an Avery, we've got an Armin, we've got an Anna, a Sarah.
Comb.
An Anna.
Also, Andrew, will your name be on the opening credits of this season?
Oh, you have to answer that.
No, well, thank you. I mean, but no. It's only the regulars, because and basically Garrett will continue to be an irregular.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me 6 and one more, I guess 7 years. It'll be the last year this year.
Thank you.
Hopefully not.
Definitely.
We're pretty sure it will.
Thank you anyway.
I wanted to thank you for all the great years, too, and I hope we see you on the big screen.
I'm going to be a pessimist. I don't think that's going to happen. And the others may have different ideas, but I don't think... We may show up as irregulars on TNG movies, but I don't think we'll have a Deep Space Nine.
When it comes to money, though, Paramount can make money, and they can put one out, they will. So,
If they can make one of the Deep Space Nine movies for under like $200, they might.
I just wanted to say I was a big fan of Andy Robinson's from Dirty Harry. When I saw him in the movie, it was the most chilling performance I'd ever seen in my life. And I looked at the credits to see who he was. I thought, I bet he's going to be up for a Best Supporting Oscar. This guy was chilling. And then I didn't hear of him for a while. And then I would see him in shows.
A real severe drug habit.
Over the years, I
went into detox for about 20 years. You know?
I would see you in other shows, and I'd say, oh, that's him. I'd tell my husband, that's the guy from Dirty Harry. And then when you showed up as Garrick, I recognized your voice. But anyone that has not seen Dirty Harry, rent it. If you see it on TV, they edit him out, down. You don't realize the chilling performance. So rent Dirty Harry and see what kind of performance that was. Thank you.
You know, thank you for that. I mean, it's very kind. And also, the crack about a drug habit, I mean, you know, that's really being silly. But there was one magazine article that did say that, you know, Andy Robinson did have a severe drug habit, which is why you never saw him again, which was like, it was news to me. You know, so now I joke about that, but I realize it's not joking matter, you know, so please, and I don't mean to give offense to anybody either who is like maybe struggling with that stuff. But thank you.
And that's the thing that happens when you give a performance that is, especially when it's your debut, you know, you spend a good part of it. Andy was a very busy actor after that, but he was not necessarily busy doing things that were, you know, reaching that kind of audience. You know, but you spend years because people just buy into that, and you know, they say, well, but that's what he is. They think that's who you are, and it's one of the dangers of this business and that kind of exposure. But good actors just go on and they're doing theater, they're doing Broadway, they're doing... I mean, people, when I finished Benson, I would see people years after, they would say, you're not acting anymore? And I was working like crazy, but I wasn't in their living rooms once a week. And you just can't underestimate that kind of exposure. And as Annie said at the very beginning, the positive and the negative aspects of it.
Well, Liberace, that was fun. I mean, that was just pure fun and was harmless too. And you know, who's going to typecast you as a gay Polish Italian piano player? I mean, not many of those. I mean, who wears funny clothes?
Following up on the piano player comment, are we going to see any more Vic Fontaine?
Oh yeah.